Thank you. Wow, what a convention. First, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for your vote. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your friendship. I will not let you down. Thank you. 95%. I never got that in school. Thank you. It's been a great convention. And let's give a big round of applause to Chairman Byron Brown and the whole team that worked so hard to get it organized. Jay Jacobs, Mike Reich, everyone who made this possible. How about that Joe Biden? I love Joe Biden. He is the heart and soul. He is the heart and soul of the Democratic Party. And he really has been fantastic. A couple of points that I just want to clarify. He made a comment about his 67 Corvette and my 75 Corvette. He's right that the 67 is a better looking Corvette than my Corvette. That is true. He then went further and suggested that his car would actually beat my car in a race. And that was a low blow. And he doesn't know what I have under the hood. So I'll give him better looking, but he is not going to beat me down the quarter mile. That I can promise you. We had Tom Perez, the chairman, who was all fired up. And boy, is he a great spokesperson. Hillary Clinton, wasn't she great? And what a difference it would be if she was president of the United States. Speaker Carl Hastie was magnificent in his comments. He was generous in his comments. He's right. I sat next to him in many, many budget discussions. He is a true believer. He's committed. He's a great negotiator. He's a great advocate. But he is also a good man and a brother of mine. And let's give him and all his colleagues a round of applause. To Andrea Stewart-Cousins, Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousins, Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins. She is exactly right. During the budget discussions, Carl and I had to sit there, and we had a Republican Senate, and we had to fight for every inch that we got. And it's amazing what we actually accomplished when you remember we had a Republican Senate. And you've heard the list of all the progressive accomplishments that we've gone through. That was with a Republican Senate. Can you imagine what we're going to get done when we have a Democratic Senate under Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins? And that is going to happen this year. The ticket that you've nominated, Controller Tom DiNapoli, who I've worked with for 8 years, who is a great man. Let's give him a round of applause. We have our Lieutenant Governor, who's done a great job, who's a woman's champion, and Hillary's right, in a place where it isn't easy. And that is very relevant because she has always been 100% pro-choice, pro-woman, pro-LGBTQ. There is no recent conversion. She's the genuine article. And even more, we have a candidate who's going to make history. She is going to be the first African-American female elected statewide. She's going to be a great attorney general. Tish James. And as a personal point of privilege, I have my family here today. I have my mom, who, well, I have more to say in a moment. My youngest, Michaela, the fire plug of the bunch. My sister Maria, my sister Margaret, the doctor, Mariana, my brothers-in-law, Howard and Brian. Let's give them a round of applause. You know, Mom, I was thinking this morning, and I heard you last night, and I heard Joe Biden talking about Dad. This morning I did CNN. I have a brother. He's not a natural brother, he's adopted. But we treat him like he's a natural brother. It's actually a funny story. He was found at our front door in a basket, and he was 16 years old. So he has certain development issues, but he does a morning show on CNN, and he's just going to, he announced today he's going to move to a nighttime, primetime talk show to further the political dialogue. And Mom, listening to you, what you've done with mentoring, what Maria has done with homelessness, what Christopher has done by bringing truth to the political arena, seeing what New York has accomplished over these past few years, seeing where we are, he is here, and he is smiling, and he is proud. To Mario Cuomo, the greatest governor in the history of the state of New York. Thank you. He loves you, Mom. Everybody loves you. Why was Tom Perez here? Why was Hillary Clinton here? Why was Joe Biden here? Because this is New York, and this election is very, very important. And literally, the nation is going to look to us. We are about to embark on the most consequential campaign in our lifetime. We are at a political crossroads, and our decisions and actions are going to define the soul of this state and the soul of this nation. Our challenge is twofold. First, we must continue to move our state forward as the progressive capital of the United States of America, because that's what we are. And at the same time, we must overcome the current national extreme conservative movement that is threatening this nation. Now, first, we must begin by getting our Democratic House in order. And we have to take a long look in the mirror, and we have to face the hard truth. And the hard truth is that in the last presidential election, Donald Trump and the right wing did not win. It's that the Democratic Party lost that election. Why did we lose the election? Because we lost the connection with who we are, and why the middle class and working families made the Democratic Party home in the first place. That's what Joe Biden was talking about. Remembering who we are here, not just here, and why we were the home of the Democrats. It's not just a New York issue. It's a national problem. And the Democratic Party all across the country is still searching for its way forward. And that's why Chairman Perez's leadership is so important. But this is New York, and they're in New York because New York always led the way. Al Smith, FDR, when there were troubled times, people looked to New York to find the way forward, and we're going to fulfill that legacy again. Joe Biden asked the question. Joe Biden said, "Who are we as Democrats?" I'll tell you who we are. We are the party of the real American values that made our country great. The principles of opportunity for all, the principle of acceptance of all, the principle that said we discriminate against no one. We are the party that holds dear the principle that we are Thank you. Thank you. We are night and day different than who they are. We are the party that holds dear the principle that we are at our strongest when we heed our better angels and we work together as one community. Let them be the party of division. We are the party of inclusion. Let them be the party that spreads fear. We are the party of hope and of love. But we also have to remember what made us great in the first place. And Chairman Perez said it. We are not a party of words. We're a party of action. Our platform is not theoretical. It is practical. We are not a party of elitists who are promulgating conceptual bromides. We are the party that enacts real-life solutions for real people with real problems in real time. We exist for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to make a difference in people's lives. Maybe the Republicans can play politics. Maybe for the Republicans, politics can be a parlor game or an intellectual exercise. Let's be honest, the Republicans don't need anything from government. They don't want anything from government. All they want is less, and they believe they are fine on their own. But for Democrats, what we accomplish or don't accomplish actually matters to our people. This is real life. It matters how much food is on the table, or whether they can pay the rent, or whether they can pay for medicine, or whether their child attends a quality public school, or whether their child can afford a college education. It matters whether they have a job. It matters how much the job pays. It matters if they have health care. It matters if they're afraid to go to the doctor because they can't pay the bill. It matters if they're a victim of discrimination or sexism or harassment. That's what the Democratic Party is all about. My father called himself a pragmatic progressive. I never liked the expression. You did. I never liked it, but we had an honest and open relationship, and he didn't care that I didn't like it. Progressive, because somewhere along the way, liberal became a dirty word. But pragmatic, because it made the point of accomplishment. We deliver practical progress for people in need. His famous campaign saying, "We campaign in poetry, but we govern in prose." It was the same point. We strive for the ideal, but we live in the real. And people want and need help now. And if anything, that is more true today than ever before. We are a society that demands immediate results in performance. Our computers must download in seconds. Information must be immediate. Our iPhones have to be state-of-the-art. We order a package and we expect it delivered the next day. We even demand more performance from ourselves. We wear watches that monitor our steps and our calories. And what people are saying is we want government that is held to the same standard. If it doesn't perform, if their lives aren't improved, that they are going to seek another solution. And what happened in the election is the middle class and the working families grew impatient with old-style government because it's out of pace with their lives. We need to adjust. It's the Democratic Party that must adjust. No more platitudes, no more posturing, no more delay, no more incompetence, no more hypotheticals, no more hyperbole. They want action. They want results, and they want actions and results now. They don't want pontification from an ivory tower. They want help in their lives. Why? Because they are suffering. The middle class has been going backwards for 30 years in terms of real wages. Their mortgage goes up, the vehicle cost goes up, their taxes go up, but they're staying flat, and they can't take it anymore. And the middle class in this country that voted for Trump didn't vote for Trump. They voted out of despair and desperation. They did it because they got tired of waiting for the Democratic Party to make a difference, and they grew impatient, and out of despair, they went for Trump. That's what we have to fix. The Democratic Party must counter the fool's gold sold by Trump, the constant tweet campaign promising immediate relief. The Democratic Party must reboot for the new reality. We must be the idea. We must be the party that has the ideas and the competence and the skill and the proven results to make life better. We can do it because we have done it. The Democratic success has always been based on big ideas and by getting them done. We are the party at our best when we are dreamers and doers. FDR's New Deal, LBJ's Great Society, Bill Clinton's new economy. That's what made the Democratic Party what it is. Transformative ideas that we got done. That is also why Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and Tom Perez are in New York. Because that's what you did, my friends. That's what this state did. New York State is a national model of the new democratic path. New York State shows progressive possibility because we got the job done, we delivered. No state in the nation has accomplished more for its people in a shorter period of time than our great state of New York. We were the progressive firsts. They watched us. They copied what we did here in New York. You are the Democratic Party at its best. You, working together, my legislative colleagues, led by Speaker Carl Heastie, led by Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousins, and their accomplishments. Our county executives, Steve Ballone, Laura Curran, and our county executives all across the state, mayors, supervisors, all coming together and working as one to do what everyone else thought was impossible. And we made it a reality here in New York. But with all we've done, success breeds success. And we are making change, and big change, social change, economic change. It's happening, and it's happening fast, and people see it, and people feel it. But my friends, that is just the beginning. We are just getting our momentum, and when we have leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, and we have that Democratic Senate, you watch what we're going to do. Now, our second task in the campaign is to challenge and overcome the radical conservative movement that dominates Washington and has infected the Republican Party all over the country. We see it in this state, too. Joe Biden is exactly right. This is not your father's Republican Party. At one time, New York State had elected officials who were moderate Republicans. They called themselves Rockefeller Republicans. They are gone. They are extinct. They went the way of the dodo bird. Today, the Albany Republicans all carry the Trump doctrine. They all drank the Trump, Ryan, McConnell Kool-Aid. And their radical assault is draconian and all-encompassing. Their vision, if you listen to them, is to take us back to their great old American days, when America was great. They think America was great when women were subordinate, and when minorities were disenfranchised, and when the big private market corporations ruled the land, and when labor was voiceless. That's the America they want to take us back to. And we are not going back, ever. And my friends, everything we have accomplished in New York, everything, they oppose. Just look at the facts. We're the first big state to pass marriage equality, and our passage created a national tide for justice. And we changed the difference in this nation on that issue. Make no mistake, when New York State acts, the nation notices. I don't want to be the arrogant New Yorker, but I'm the arrogant New Yorker. New York State is different. When New York acts, the nation follows. We passed marriage equality, and it went across the nation like a fire through dry grass. They opposed marriage equality when we did it. And now they want to treat the LGBTQ community as second-class citizens, while we want to move forward and pass gender. We led the nation in raising the minimum wage to the highest in history, $15. They want to do away with the law, while we want to advance the fight against income inequality by making sure a hard day's work is rewarded with a livable wage. They are using their stacked Supreme Court to attack the continued existence of the labor movement. They want more power for management. Well, you know what? We are the most unionized state in the nation, and we are proud of it. And thank you. But we want to end the convention before we get to 4 more years. And we are proud that we're the most unionized state. And that's why we are proposing groundbreaking laws to protect the labor unions in this state, and we're going to pass them this year. And I want everyone to remember, it is the labor unions that built and grow the middle class and safeguard workers. That has always been the way, and that's why we support them 100%. We all owe labor unions a debt of gratitude, and let's show them and say thank you. While they are attacking the public education system, we're doing the exact opposite. We are funding public education at the highest level in this state's history, and in fact, we lead the nation in the highest level of funding per pupil in the United States of America, and we are proud of it. But now in this state, we want to take the next step and we want to go even further. Because the progressive truth is that 50 years after Brown versus Board of Education, we still have two education systems in this state, one for the rich and one for the poor. That is the truth. And the sad truth is that too often a poor minority child is condemned to a second-class school, often in a rich school district. We need to raise the bar higher. And we need a new advocacy grassroots movement. We need to get parents engaged. It's not a question of just how much we're funding the system. It's more of a question of how much we are funding individual schools and how we are distributing those funds and how fairly we're distributing those funds. We have 5,000 schools in this state. We have 1,600 schools in New York City. The question we have to answer is how much are we giving to the rich schools and how much are we giving to the poorer schools? My 2 cents is I believe the poor schools should be the #1 priority, and we should put our money where our mouth is as Democrats and make sure every child, rich and poor, black and white, urban and rural, has the same high-quality education, and we end funding disparity, and we start a new movement of education funding equity in this state, so we make sure the money is going to where the money is needed most. They are seeking to increase criminal penalties, and their only answer is to put more people in jail. That's their answer for everything, let alone that we already put more people in jail than any industrialized nation on the globe. We believe it's a waste of life and a waste of money. That's why we passed, together with the Speaker's leadership, Raise the Age. That's why we believe in alternatives to incarceration. And that's why we are proud to say we closed more prisons in New York State than any administration in the history of the state of New York. We seek to protect the environment, and they seek to abuse it. The extreme conservatives defy science, reason, logic, fact, and circumstance. They not only ignore the obvious, undeniable impact of climate change, but they continue to degrade our environment. They want to increase fossil fuels, oblivious to the poisoning of the nation. And we want to end all coal plants in New York by 2020. We lead the nation in renewable development, conservation, and banning fracking, and we're going to set the bar even higher. Clean technology is the sustainable economy, and its home is going to be in the state of New York. The president has now proposed offshore drilling because they care nothing about the carbon footprint, and they learned nothing from the BP oil spill. We will pass a law prohibiting it, and we will take them to court challenging it, because I want the president to hear me clearly. There is no how, no way there's going to be offshore drilling in New York, period. Now, when President Trump was campaigning for office and he was trying to seduce the middle class, he promised a $1.5 trillion infrastructure program. Do you remember that? In truth, as soon as he got into office, he gave that $1.5 trillion to the richest 1% of Americans in his tax reform Christmas giveaway. Well, we did the exact opposite. We embarked on the most aggressive building program in the nation, $100 billion, building a new LaGuardia Airport, a new JFK Airport, a new Rochester Airport, a new Syracuse Airport, a new Plattsburgh Airport, Elmira Airport, Ithaca Airport, a revitalized Buffalo, a new Expo Center in Syracuse, a new Kosciuszko Bridge, a new Tappan Zee Bridge, a new Long Island Railroad right here on Long Island, a new Moynihan-Farley train station, a new Rochester train station, and we're going to be the first state to have 100% high-speed broadband coverage from one end of the state to the other. And we did all that work with quality union labor. And my friends, we created over 1 million private sector quality jobs to bring this state to the highest number of jobs in history, $8.2 million, bringing unemployment down in every region in the state. And now that we know that it works, and now that we know our success over the next term, we're going to do even more. And we're going to go even further. And we're going to invest $150 billion in making this the greatest state on the globe and creating more good middle-class jobs. The president is hell-bent on his anti-American agenda to deport new immigrants. Just last week, he called them animals. This from the President of the United States, calling people animals. He's going so far as to try to deport young people who were born in this country, young people who know no home besides America. First of all, it is the height of hypocrisy to attack immigration, because unless the Trumps were members of the Navajo, Sioux, Apache, Iroquois, or Seneca tribes, then the Trumps are immigrants too, because we are all immigrants. We all came from somewhere else to join the family of New York. How short our memory. But we remember here in New York, and we don't think that diversity is something to be afraid of. We think diversity is a strength. We think it makes us stronger and better. And New York is going to do the exact opposite of Washington. We're going to protect our new immigrants against this assault by providing legal counsel before anyone is deported, and we're going to invest in our young people, providing them an affordable higher education by passing the DREAM Act, because we believe they are part of New York's future. An extension of their philosophy was the abandonment of the people of Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. Just ask Assemblyman Marcus Crespo, Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez. We were on the first plane down after the hurricane. It was terrible. Well, Mr. President, I have a civics lesson for you. Puerto Ricans are American citizens just like you and me, and they deserved better. There are no second-class American citizens, but don't you worry. New Yorkers will step up, and New Yorkers will come to the rescue, because they are our brothers and sisters. And look, I wish I could say to you, well, they're seeing the errors of their ways. They see the division, and they see the fear. They see the increase in racism. They see the increase in the number of KKK groups. They see the increase in the number of anti-Semitic attacks. And they're backing off. They're not. If anything, they're taking their radical agenda forward even faster. Today, Washington is deaf, dumb, and blind to this country's current reality. The scourge of sexual harassment that has been demonstrated from coast to coast across every industry and every institution, and yet the silence from Washington is deafening. Well, again, New York is leading the way. We just passed the strongest government sexual harassment policy in the United States, and now we're going to bring reform to the private sector as well, because sexual harassment of women is real, it is undeniable, and this is the moment in history to make the reform and end it once and for all. And New York is going to be the state to do it. It ends here, and it ends now. My friends, the truth is Trump used the middle class in his campaign. And the truth is Trump is abusing them in his government. Trump's tax reform plan ends state and local tax deductibility, which means our income taxes and property taxes are going to go up about 30% in this state. Unbelievably, the Republican congressional delegation supported this tax increase on New Yorkers. Now, New York is doing the exact opposite. We made our tax code the most progressive, with top earners paying their fair share. Our millionaires tax is the second highest in the nation and the highest in the East. And at the same time, we're lowering taxes on the middle class to the lowest level in over 50 years. That's smart taxation. We passed a property tax cap that limits the increase on property taxes to 2% because it's a regressive tax in the first place. Now, if the Washington Republicans' tax increase goes through, it will wipe out all the progress that we have made over these past 7 years. There are only 12 states that pay the tax penalty. They are all Democratic states. They are all states that voted against Trump. This is political retaliation. It's not tax policy. It's old-fashioned, nasty, illegal political retribution. And we're going to sue. We'll stop it. It's unconstitutional. And we're going to hold every Republican in this state accountable in November for their tax assault on New York. Now, talking about the current issues that they are blind to, Washington has also been blind to the scourge of gun violence. Mass shootings now seem to occur on a weekly basis. Last week it was Santa Fe, Texas. Another 10 innocents were massacred. I was watching television. A young girl from the Santa Fe High School was interviewed, and she was asked if she was surprised that it happened in her school. You know what she said? She said, no, it's happening everywhere. How sad a reality. Look how far we have sunk. Why can't our national leaders be as smart as our high school students? The answer is Because they are a wholly owned subsidiary of the NRA. They sold their soul and they sold their conscience for political contributions. Their answer to gun violence is more guns. They live in a state of denial. Well, we live in the state of New York. And New York has already led the nation in gun safety when we passed the SAFE Act 5 years ago after the Sandy Hook massacre, because we said enough is enough. The SAFE Act, my friends, the SAFE Act 5 years ago did everything that they are still seeking to accomplish in this nation today. It banned military-style assault weapons. It banned clips with more than 10 bullets. It set up a mental health database, and it closed the gun show loophole. And you know what else is important about the SAFE Act? Is what it didn't do. All these threats and all these fears you hear from the NRA, it's a slippery slope. They're going to come and take your gun. It never happened. Well, legal gun owners won't be able to get a gun. It never happened. Legal gun owners, sportsmen, hunters, all can buy as many guns as they want. None of the NRA threats were ever true. And our SAFE Act proved the fallacy of their argument. But now New York is going to lead the way forward again, because we're going to take our SAFE Act and we're going to take it to the next level by increasing the waiting period for background checks from 3 days to 10 days, passing a red flag law, and raising the minimum age to purchase a gun to 21. Common sense gun safety is possible. New York did it. This nation can do it. Follow New York. And of all these issues, this one is literally a matter of life and death. The extreme conservative allegiance to the NRA over the lives of American citizens is the most cynical political act in modern history. I say to Washington, open your eyes. Look at the reality. People are dying. Do something. You are elected to lead, so lead. Your inaction is just short of madness. To take no action after Santa Fe High School is madness. To take no action after Parkland, Florida is madness. To take no action after the church massacre in Texas is madness. To take no action after the Orlando nightclub shooting is madness. To take no action after Sandy Hook, Fort Hood, Virginia Tech, Columbine, it is madness. How many lives must be lost just since President Trump took office? 21,149 lives left to senseless gun violence. Mr. President, I ask you today, how many innocent lives must be lost before you will stand up and act? It must end. It must end. And it won't end, my friends, I'm sorry to say, until we end it. Because Washington is not going to do it until we change Washington. And that's what this convention is all about at the end of the day. That's our mission for this campaign. First, to show the middle class that the Democratic Party is the progressive party of results, continue to move the state forward, and second, to fight back against the current extreme conservative domination of Washington. The battle lines are drawn. We know what we have to do. The Republicans are meeting at their convention as we're meeting at our convention. The Republicans in this state put at the top of their ticket a Trump mini-me. He's anti-woman, anti-LGBTQ, anti-gun safety, anti-immigration, anti-education equity, and pro-Trump's New York tax increases. All he is a banner carrier for the extreme conservative movement. We're going to defeat their ideology in every electoral race all across this state. We're going to come together and work together like we never have before, more coordinated, more unified. It's not a small task, but we are not a small state. It's a challenge, but we are up to it. That's why Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and Tom Perez were here today. They know we can do it. They know what we can do when we are united and we are energized. And they know what we're going to do. Because we're going to rise up, fight back, and move forward by challenging every Republican House seat from Montauk to Niagara Falls. We're going to rise up, fight back, and move forward by electing a clear, functional majority of Democrats to the state Senate. We're going to rise up and fight back and move forward by electing more Democrats to the New York State Assembly. We're going to rise up, fight back, and move forward by making history and electing Tish James, the first African-American woman elected statewide in history. We're going to rise up and fight back and move forward by electing Kathy Hochul, our Western New York champion, our woman's champion. As Lieutenant Governor, we're going to rise up, fight back, and move forward by electing Tom DiNapoli for another term as our great controller. We're going to rise up, fight back, and move forward by electing a Democratic Congress to stop this conservative freight train and stop this president. We're going to rise up, fight back, and move forward by making New York State a model of progressive policy and actions. And today, more united, more energized, more mobilized than we've ever been, we're going to send Washington a message that their government demeans us, that they degrade the people of this state, that we are better than this. We are smarter, stronger, fairer than they would make us. And we will not allow them to lower us. New York is going to raise us because New York is the alternative state to Trump's America. Let's show them how we do it. Let's do it together. Let's lead New York forward and set an example for this nation. Thank you, and God bless you.